to the second day of pool play here at the U.S. Open in Blaine, Minnesota. I'm Erin Maraca. I'm here with Liam Grant to bring you the live stream coverage brought to you by Fulcrum Media. This round we'll see Dragon Thrust versus BFG, both of whom are having a pretty good showing in pool play so far. Liam, you were out there talking to the teams ahead of the game. What can we expect to see?
Yeah, two big high flyers of North American Ultimate going at it here. Yeah, Dragon Thrust undefeated so far. Just won a game against Public Enemy 12-8. Beat Mixtape yesterday 15-10. Beat Charlotte as well 59 and beat the German mixed team 15-6. So undefeated so far and a lot of big margins in those games. This is a team that's been to 6 US Opens so far. Have made semis every time. Made it 2 finals. Haven't got a gold medal yet, but they've been playing amazing so far in this tournament. And then BFG, world champions, again dominating pool play yesterday. Had I think a double game point win against Seattle Mixtape in a grudge match, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, a team I'm very familiar with. I think this is my 3rd time actually covering BFG in a short period of time. Mostly because keep winning all their games, and if you keep winning, you're going to get a lot more coverage. So yeah, it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be interesting to see who gets this one, likely to be the top of their pool.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to see these two teams square off. A lot of really fun matchups I'm sure that we're going to see, both between the ladies on these 2 rosters and between the men. So it should be a pretty exciting, well-matched game here. Weather here, of course, in Blaine, a little bit wet this morning. We've got everything covered in plastic right now on the table. So we'll do our best to keep you apprised of what's going on as the wind picks up, and if any rain comes in, conditions always play a factor. So I know people like to follow along with that. Please feel free to participate in the Facebook live stream. Comment where you're watching from or who you're cheering for or anything else. There is someone monitoring the live stream in the truck. Liam and I do not have access to it. So if we are pronouncing any names wrong, if there's anything else you'd like to tell us, you'll have to relay that information through a third party before we'll be able to see it.
I may or may not have hijacked the Ultiworld Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah?
Still had the same password from World, so I wandered over there. I think I'm just out of range of their field where they're also doing coverage, but might get a little sneaky Wi-Fi.
Well, Dragon will start here on O. Austin Lean will pick up the disc and center to Charlie Schweiler. BFG looks to be in a little bit of a poach set here. Martha Lean, back to Schweiler. Henke. BFG has now transitioned back into a person D, and that transition and the tight handler defense caused a miscue in the backfield for Dragon. This is Pickle to Tommy Lee, back to Pickle. Bar on Simmons. Good handler work there from BFG. Another reset miscue here. Maybe the disc is a little bit wet to start off this game.
Yeah, conditions deteriorated earlier in the day. The winds calmed down a bit, but still very greasy, wet discs out there.
A stoppage. Looks like a pick has been called. Lean will center this vert stack for Dragon.
And plenty of leans on the field, or at least on the roster. We have Jacob Lean as well, Martha Lean just back from World Masters.
Yep, Austin and Jacob, brothers. Austin and Martha, partners. Emily Regan with the Frisbee. Finding Lean. Another stoppage. Looks like another pick has been called.
Yeah, so Martha Lean back from World Masters, finished 7th with the Surly Cougars, and added 5 players from World Masters today. Dragon Thrust, see if that experience helps them out.
Oh, a nice poach there by Tommy Lee to recover possession for BFG. Schweiler able to pick the disc back off for Dragon. Looking for an option, finds Henke crossfield. making it exciting. Tommy Lee over Austin Lean, immediately rips a backhand to Kyle Terrier on the doorstep. Back to Pickle. Finding number 30, Bendit. And Bendit back to Terrier for a break for BFG to go up 1-0.
Yeah, Terrier had a great performance yesterday as well in the group stages. You can see there he has a lot of athleticism, grinds out that deep shot and then dishes it off, waits for the reset, and then attacks the front corner again. And great play by him. Sarah Bendit picking up the assist there. Nice high release break pass.
Now it looked a little bit like Dragon was having some trouble finding downfield looks through their offense. Did you get a look at what BFG might be doing back there?
Yeah, it seemed at the start that Dragon Thrust came out of a side stack and BFG kind of didn't have an honest defense to begin with, and that kind of nullified that side stack. They then went to a regular vert and they really struggled to get any flow, and I think just maybe athleticism from the BFG D-line was really shutting them down, and they, I don't know, looked a bit slow coming into this game. Like they were dominating against Public Enemy earlier in the group stage game, but actually Enemy came back and momentum was definitely with their side, so they're trying to come out of that, losing, let's say, the second half of that Public Enemy game. So they need to pull up their socks here, and we know how good this team is. As I said, have made semi-finals every time they've attended this tournament. And I think no matter what happens here, I think they're likely to make semis. This is probably to see who gets first and second seed. See if they're doing any tactical wins and losses or what score margin they want for the almighty algorithm.
Fair, totally fair. Hagen will pull for BFG here, and we'll get a look at an O-line here from Dragon. Bacon fields the pull to Lean. Over to Ritzman. Maxroth. Maxroth finds Bacon in power. Ritzman is going. A little bit of lane cloggage prevented Bacon from shooting, I'm sure.
Yeah, that shot was definitely on for Bacon.
Nice, a round break to Maxroth. To Ritzman. Ritzman also quite happy to put it. She's looking for Caleb Denacor. Tom Green tries for the second effort. There's a little bit of a bang up in the end zone.
Yeah, Tom Green almost getting it on the rebound as Hagen went up quite early. Maybe.
We'll get another look at that here.
As he tries to catch it on his back. I like that, staying with it. Rolled it off his neck. You see why this call is coming. Hagen possibly initiating contact. Maybe it didn't affect the play. Would either of them have got it? Quite a high disc. So a lot of discussions going on here as to whether there was a foul, and if there was a foul, did it actually affect the play?
Looks like Denacor is waving the call off. Good spirit there. BFG will recover disc on the front cone with 70 to go. Looks like Mario Bryan will pick up.
No observers in this game, which is unusual. I thought we were going to have observers for most of the showcase games, with two very spirited teams. I don't think we'll need them, only just to have them there just in case.
Bladen to Hagen. Hagen shooting to 23. Linnea Sue. Maxroth is there to defend it. Finding Denacor, who has to toe the line. Shortall. Back to Tom Green. Maxroth shooting to Ritzman. It is intercepted by Alyssa Sue. Quite a lot of back and forth in this game already, Liam.
Yeah, neither team settling into their offense. Now the Dragons just team going upwind on their offense, and Mexrod picks up another D. She's just kind of sitting back there, minding the house, and BFG happy to throw to her.
Mexrod is definitely such a dynamic player that she frequently finds herself in a last back situation to help kind of any player on her team if needed. Nice late stall break look from Tom Green to Mexroth. Resetting again. Another stoppage here. Sounds like there was a foul in the backfield between Bacon and her defender.
Glad to see Bacon on this upwind O-line. You know, she has the big throws, has represented USA before in 2016 at the World Ultimate Gust Championships. And maybe a bit fiery with her throws, but when you're going upwind in wet conditions, you want someone who has that big cannons.
Leading Bacon into the end zone to hold for Dragon. It's now 1-1. We really appreciate being able to bring you this live coverage today at the National Sports Center in Minnesota. This stream is produced by Fulcrum Media and brought to you by USA Ultimate and the merchandise partner, which is Spin Ultimate this year. I know we had a really great event last night at the Spin tent. It was an equity and diversity forum panel style. Were you able to attend?
I wasn't. I hadn't eaten in quite some time, so I got the lift offered for me to go for food, and I went with it. But I actually caught maybe about 10-15 minutes at the start, but then food was beckoning. But I heard it was great.
Yeah, it turned out really well. All the panelists were really articulate and really brave for sharing their stories. I think it was really valuable for the community, and I hope that we continue to do exercises like that and have those conversations, because it can only make us a better community. I know Dragon came and sat for a while, and a number of BFG teammates were also in attendance, and then Dragon had to leave for their showcase game against the Germany team, which they were a little upset about the timing, because I know they wanted to be there, but it was nice of them to show their support. Pat Niles will pull here from Dragon, one of the players returning from the World's Masters tournament. He, of course, played for the Surly men's team with Josh Hemish, who is also on the sideline over here. Nice to have a couple more players to bolster your roster. I know yesterday the Dragon roster felt a little bit light.
Yeah, and we see here now the BFG female players kind of huddling up. I believe this is their D-line players. I think they're discussing what they're going to do about Sarah Mexrod and Erica Bacon.
I think that's fair.
I think they're deciding like how they're going to adjust their defense to adapt to those players, because it's unusual to see just one gender of a team huddling up like that, but I think that's what they're discussing. When you have the likes of Sarah Mexrod, you have to kind of treat her differently. You can't let her go deep. You can see that she's poaching off as well, so they're just talking there, I believe, about how to adjust to her dominant play on the field.
BFG checks in the disc. Jeff Pape, or is it Pape?
It is Pape, I do believe.
Awesome.
Jeff.
Nice sky and grab there by Simon Fox. There's an Erica Bacon layout D on an up line. Kind of in a tight area over there. It's like Kat Ritzman is poached. We were able to talk to Kat Ritzman during a halftime interview yesterday. She is now a stalwart on Dragon, excellent defender, very fast, also left-handed.
Do you think the left-handed part is the most important of all those traits?
We talked about this a lot yesterday, especially in the wind. Dragon has 5 left-handed people, maybe 6. I could be forgetting one. Ritzman is one of those. Just the spin of the disc is different, and in certain wind conditions, it can be a huge advantage. Another stoppage here. Looks a little bit like a pick may have been called. Ritzman tries to put up a backhand. It is right into the pile. BFG not sure who is going to pick up. Pape will pick up for BFG. Another reset in a tight space from BFG. Crystal Koo in the backfield finding Kirkland. Pick was called in the backfield. Alyssa Koo trying to figure out if it affected the throw to her or whether it will go back. It will go back to Kirkland. Kirkland to Kelly. Kelly to Simon Fox. Simon Fox going up and over, trying to find Pape, and it's a bit too far. Good effort play there from Pape.
You know, Simon Fox is one of the standout cutters for this BFG team. And she's great downfield, but getting a bit under pressure there with the reset. Went for that high release, and very difficult in this wind and rain.
That's the second time that Kat Ritzman has been poached on an under, so perhaps the conversation among the BFG women had something to do with a bit of a lady poach. Certainly produced an error there so that BFG could recover on that miscue. Timeout called by BFG. Certainly a long point, time to regroup.
Yeah, I think, as you said, they were maybe poaching on some of their female players. That's exactly what the BFG women were talking about on the sideline. Is like something that I would do often as a team if I feel maybe someone is more athletic than me, or just one player on the team is more athletic, to set up more switches, adapt for that. Don't just get burned to the open side every time. And they've done that really well and stifled them there and got them to this back.
Excellent. So perhaps, again, one of these defensive sets that teams are investing in. We've talked to a lot of teams who are using US Open as this midpoint in the season as a chance to try out sets and make sure that they're all kind of functioning as they move forward in their season. On the other side of our complex today, of course, is the first day of the Youth Club Championships for 2018, which is a confluence of the youth talent from across the country. Really excited to hear more about how those YCC games are going today, especially in this weather, especially after they all had a chance last night during check-in to watch some of these high-caliber athletes play. Do you think that the youth teams are maybe going to be more hyped this morning because they have access to this kind of spectating material from yesterday?
Yeah, definitely. We saw them all on the sideline yesterday being so pumped. And in between halftime, they kind of stormed the field. They were doing little trick shots. And it's a really cool experience, something that I never got as a younger player. So it's really cool, dynamic experience to have the best kind of senior players here at the same time as the best youth players as well. So it's great for them to get a taste of what's to come in the future.
Absolutely. I'm excited that we are also going to be bringing a lot of coverage for the YCC portion of this tournament. Of course, that's their championship event, as Leighton skies for that D and resets to Pat Niles, and they are off to the races to Bacon.
Bacon's second goal in a row. It's not often you'll see O-line players come on the D-line straight away and play 2 points in a row, but you can see why. She's an amazing player, and you saw BFG set up that side stack off the timeout. Rina Kawabata isolated in the lane, and that's usually their go-to, but couldn't get their offense settled, couldn't get the swing again. They're asking a lot of Pape with some wayward swing passes, unable to come down with that one, and again, there is Bacon showing why she made that USA team.
Yeah, I remember when, I believe that year they did little videos of everybody who made that team, and one of the questions was kind of, how do you train for tryouts? And I remember Bacon very explicitly saying that you run 200s until you can't, and then you run more. She's very fit. She trains all the time. She lives in Iowa and commutes to play with Dragon at all of their tournaments. Obviously, one of those staple players who's been on the team for a very long time and just brings a lot of energy and a lot of fitness on both sides of the disc.
I see Bacon sporting the gum headband. I do believe there's a gum ball later on today.
There is at 5:30 tonight, I believe, in the stadium. There's the gum ball. It's a good opportunity for kind of all of the female athletes who are in attendance tonight to interact and be together. I think it goes until 7:30, and if you have a wristband for the player dinner tonight, that also gets you access into the event, I think. So it is a free event as far as I am aware. So they wanted to make it accessible for everybody. Pape again with the disc to Kawabata. Kawabata on a huge backhand to Kirkland. Kirkland with a break blade finding Kieran Kelly. That was a very clean hold for BFG.
Yeah, that's exactly the offense they want to play. That's what they've set up. And the play worked out to perfection here. Kawabata on that first under. And then so nice getting another 20-yard under off that. A lot of space for Alexa Kirkland to cut. And then goes for that kind of high release, floaty, bladey hawk. And that's how you throw downwind, leading someone out. Put a lot of height on it. It's a very forgiving throw. A bit of curve on it to get around the defender. And yeah, that was perfect offense. I think maybe Dragon Thrust need to adjust a little more to not let Kawabata get their first disc. Do something to just stifle that set play. Make them do something they don't want to do.
Absolutely. It started with a break throw from Pape. Kawabata to Kirkland was basically an IO backhand break, and then another around flick break. That was just all break throws on O. So that's got to be something that you take back to your D-line and try to settle into something to hold the force. It's a lot easier for your downfield defenders.
Yeah, I think when you have that side stack, there's so much space that stopping a break throw is almost impossible in many ways, because you can throw the whole way around backhand or throw the whole way around flick. We saw both breaks using that point. There's just enough space to get either off. So I think maybe just throwing another person in the lane, or you can usually poach off that side stack. Now, what BFG tend to do is if you do poach, they all flood to the other side and use that as the active lane. But again, a very difficult team to stop. That's why they are the world champs. As you get the drone shot there.
Tommy Lee pulling for BFG. Austin Lean will field this pull for Dragon. Schweiler with a cheeky scoober over the top to Maxroth. BFG sinking some of these lanes, not playing kind of true person defense quite yet, which isolates Sierra Barton in space, and Maxroth puts it out for her. Not sure if that was already out the back.
Yeah, it was a close call, but that was a great drone shot to see the BFG junk defense to start off with. And that's something I think Dragon Trust may be thinking about doing as well. And BFG are just doing that to shut down the set play. Let them not do what they want to do for the first pass or two now. Had a great shot to the end zone, not gathered up. But you can see why BFG are playing that style of defense. Just for the first 3-4 passes, it looks.
Yeah. Tommy Lee will pick up for BFG. A nice layout D there by Marty Adams to recover possession for Dragon. Really inches from this end zone. And they will give it back to Adams for bookends. Great play there from Marty.
Yeah, Charlie Schuweiler with the assist, the young 22-year-old. Also represented the USA at a junior level. Now reignited one of his high school coaches, I believe. John Gross is now head coach of Dragon Thrust.
Yes.
So keeping that connection going.
Both Marty Adams and Charlie Schweiler are also products of the Minnesota YCC program. They spent a number of years representing the Minnesota U20 Superior team. It's cool to see them rise up through the ranks and earn their way onto a team like this.
Now, here's a hot take for you, Aaron. We're talking about this at dinner last night, how because of YCC, most colleges now are getting players who've played Ultimate before. They're coming in with disc skills, etc. And it's almost hard for players who haven't played Ultimate before to break into the college system. And people were saying maybe we're missing out on certain athletes. The footballer who comes in and doesn't know how to throw a flick for the first year isn't getting on the team or isn't getting game time because all these YCC players are coming in, and they're going to get the first dibs on the roster, you know, because they have that skill and experience Now, obviously, there's going to be plenty of athletes from YCC as well, but I think the point was we got to make sure that if people come to college and haven't played Ultimate before, they're given a shot.
Absolutely. I think, too, we're at a spot in college Ultimate where not all teams have a B team yet. Not all regions have access to these YCC players. So we're not at a parity level across all colleges everywhere yet. So I think there are still plenty of opportunities. But if you're talking about big name programs, then certainly asking a returning athlete to join the team on a B team might not turn into a recruit. So I see what you're saying there. I'm just not, yeah, I think there's a way. I think there's a way to recruit those players and get them into your program if you really want them.
It was a hot take. It was a hot take.
Pape finds Kawabata, and the Kawabata Bacon matchup should be a good one. Simon Fox with the disc, looking for a reset, and finds Adam Simon. Up to Pape. Pape up to Adam Simon. Just a number of upline cuts there until they scored.
Yeah, Jeff Pape with the assist. Actually spent some time in Ireland, went to Dublin's Golden Cup and played for Mixed Veg there.
There's a team called Mixed Veg.
Mixed Veg, yeah, in Ireland. It's going on, probably one of the longest running teams in Ireland. I've actually played with them a little bit before. It's kind of a mishmash mixed team out of Dublin. And I guess what's different in Ireland and other parts in Europe, especially in the UK, is that we have like a mixed season in spring and everyone plays mixed, and then there's like an open and women's season in the fall or the end of the summer, that part of the year, and everyone plays that. So like they're completely separate. So everyone plays both divisions usually.
Okay. Is part of that season indoors at all?
We also have an indoor season in December. We have no time off. There is no off season in Ireland or in Europe. It's just people decide they don't want to play certain tournaments, etc. But there is a hope.
And so are spending a lot of time, again, though with tight handler defenders by BFG, trying to find these resets. A good lockdown for BFG for sure. Okay, it's going back to Austin Lean.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. Didn't really affect that reset.
A number of high fives all around as various paired up players discuss what just happened. Oh, still some trouble finding a reset. Austin Lean will have to put up a bailout, and Hagen over Henke comes down with it.
Yeah, great defense from Hagen. And we saw there the drone shot as well. You could see how many Dragon Trust players were moving downfield, and they're all cutting each other off. They needed to maybe isolate just one person in that reset space. A bit too much movement.
Alyssa Sue back to Pickle, back to Bladen. Pickle has number 44, Steve Gussin, on the back line. He is in. BFG takes the lead 4-3.
Some great work there on his tippy toes. Maybe should be auditioning for Swan Lake with that kind of balance and grace. Stays in bounds and catches the disc as well. A lot of people, what they do in this situation is they often end up looking at their feet and towing the line in and then dropping the disc, because it's so hard to concentrate on those two things at once. But did it exceptionally well there. I'd like to see it called in by the Dragon Trust players as well. No observer on the sideline.
That's what I thought I saw, yep. And Tommy Lee will pull for BFG here. Reminder that the Facebook live stream has a comment feature, and we'd love to hear from you. More about what you think of the game, who you're cheering for, any standout plays or players. Always happy to hear from you and engage with the community. Sounds like Liam may or may not have Wi-Fi, so we will try to check in when we can. Also helpful just to connect with the community. It's our 50th anniversary of the sport, which is really incredible, and so a lot of cool celebrations have been happening around, and will continue to ramp up until Nationals in San Diego in October. Also might be interesting to hear when everyone started playing and how long we've all been a part of this community. Great pull here from Tommy Lee. Jacob Lean will field and center to Erica Bacon. BFG again in this little poach look for a bit. As the handlers work it and try to find lanes. Bacon to Denacor, back to Bacon. Looks like a travel may have been called.
A little bit of confusion as to what's going on.
It looks like BFG indicated that they were going 4 women and Dragon didn't see. And so the ratio is off right now. And BFG is fielding 4 women and Dragon has 3. And so they're trying to figure out how to make this correction kind of live on the field. The Spirit captains are interacting.
I know in WFDF rules, what would happen is now you'd restart the points. That's, as far as I'm aware, that's what would happen. Those are for this situation.
I don't know that they're explicitly addressed in the rules. Mostly the rules are trying to prevent infractions from occurring, not necessarily about handling them once there's been a mistake. It does look like we will re-pull here and restart the point with the appropriate ratio as indicated.
And this is something you want the game observers for, because I don't think either team is being poorly spirited there. I don't think it was a tactic to try and catch them out or put the wrong gender ratio out there. But what observers are likely to pick up on that before the pull goes up, and that would have helped keep this game rolling. But Tommy Lee will have another go at that big backhand bladey pull.
All in though, handled pretty efficiently there. Would have liked to see it maybe caught a little bit earlier, but BFG was going to come down in that poach zone, which means that they weren't necessarily trying to match up 1-to-1. So I can imagine how they just kind of missed that opportunity to notice as well. Nearly the same exact pull from Tommy Lee, maybe a little bit deeper. Jacob Lean able to catch it this time and center to Erica Bacon. BFG counting the completed passes on the sideline. And a little bit of a miscue there between Tom Green and Barton. BFG really close to the end zone here with a chance. Tommy Lee to Baron Simmons, back to Pickle. Looking for Barden, and he will find number 30, Sarah Bendit, for the break.
Yeah, second break of the game. Bendit scoring this one, got an assist earlier. This throw from Pickle that had the grass not been cut quite recently, that might have cut some daisies, but this one stays up, great hands. Austin Barden. And 2 well-timed fakes there from the BFG players. Both the cutter and thrower faked at the same time, which made the defender bid. You're going to bite on that if both players are doing it at the same time, and then an easy goal in the front of the end zone.
Good opportunity there for BFG to take advantage of that error. Teams like Dragon Thrust don't give the disc away very often, and so when they do, it is important to capitalize. So now up a break, Seattle leading 5-3. Coach Gross walking out to the line with his O-line to impart some kind of wisdom, perhaps a little bit more about these open unders or some communication in the handler set. BFG has been playing really excellent person defense going this way. Have you noticed whether there's a wind advantage either way? It's blowing a little bit at us, but I can't quite tell.
Well, BFG have broken both directions. I feel like there's maybe a slight advantage going left to right. That is kind of downwind, but it is quite blustery. and a difficult win to predict. So not too much of an advantage there, but this will possibly be an easier O-line for Dragon Trust. Definitely an easier pull to field.
Nice snag there by Maxon. Out to Henke. Martheline. To Adams. Over to Austin Lean, who looks for a hammer to Neil Henke, and Hagen is there. There is some contact. It is uncontested, so Henke will retain possession and walk it back to the front line of the end zone. Good spirit there by Hagen. Nice cut there by Austin Lean. Hagen almost made a play on that, even though he was the mark.
Yeah, his teammates coming over and just congratulating him. Had two fantastic efforts at making a defensive stop. The first one, unfortunately, initiated some contact and uncontested the foul. This time, as you see him peel off the mark, recognizing the threat. And that's what he's so good at doing. You see him here leaving the mark, almost getting there. Just couldn't contort his body in the right way. And you see Lean has a little sniggery nose that that one just got out of his hands.
Looks like we might be taking a timeout here.
And looking at the information of this BFG team, all teams having to fill out a little blurb about themselves, and it seems like BFG have almost put in a poem here. They've put in: a team is known. A team is known out love and joy, hard work and grit, mutual respect and trust. And it goes on for quite a while about, I guess, a team is no one, but you could enter that in a little poetry competition, I think. You can see how much spirit means to them, and the core values of this team: positivity, process, perseverance, and team founded by Lily Gu and Alexa Kirkland very much resonate that ethos.
Absolutely. It's really interesting to see kind of each of the teams carry their brand to this tournament. Different cultures throughout, different sideline celebrations and communications, different types of cheers. It's really interesting how many different ways there are to kind of connect and combine a team together, and it's really interesting to see them face off against one another, especially when those cultures are so different. Dragon Thrust obviously has been a team since 2009. The core of these players have been playing together a very long time, and many of them have found their life partners here on this team. It's an interesting kind of family feel, and I know that that's something that they carry with them and that they value really highly. They spend a lot of time together, even off the field as well, but they were doing a lot of cheers yesterday to kind of indicate that they missed their Masters players.
Aww.
So they were doing a lot of, I think there was one cheer that was "Get on my lawn." They're just making a little bit of fun of their Masters players. I know that they do miss them when they're gone. And as they continue to bring in new pieces to their team, they try to seamlessly integrate them in with the system that has been doing very, very well for them for a number of years. The Dragon women in a little bit of a help set just for that initial moment. Kat Ritzman was helping over the top with Kawabata, forcing the handlers to reset. Simon and Pape working together. Pape looking for Aldous Root. Denacor with the speed to take that lane away.
We saw earlier on that point Kawabata being isolated, this time being marked by Sarah Mextrot. And that is a matchup you want to see as a spectator. Not able to get it free in the first two cuts. He eventually gets free, but Pape had already looked for his reset at that point. But that's going to be a great matchup on both sides of the disc.
Leighton to Mexroth on the break around under. One of those Masters players that was so missed is Jamie Glader, who is streaking deep right now in anticipation of Lean getting that disc, but it's a little too far despite his effort. Simon will pick up for BFG with Pape in the backfield, and it looks like they will isolate Lindsay Simon Fox. A nice around break there by Simon. And BFG will go up 6-4.
Yeah, that's where you want Simon Fox, one of the top scorers on this team at the World Ultimate Club Championships. She is a big threat in the end zone. And maybe just pick your matchups, and then like Kawabata, obviously a fantastic player, but she was being marked by Mexroth, so maybe this time turning someone else who maybe has an easier matchup than Mexroth. Got to watch her play at the World Championships of Beach Ultimate as well. Sarah was part of that women's team that unfortunately lost in the final in a very interesting game against Russia. And I've often heard Evan Lepler use the expression "go-go gadget arms." And sometimes I'm like, I don't know how appropriate it is, but Sarah Mexroth has go-go gadget arms. It was the most appropriate usage of that phrase that I've ever seen.
That's fair. Of course, against this Dragon team, there aren't very many easy matchups. So even between Bacon and Kat Ritzman and Jamie Glader, there are so many women on this Dragon team who can produce layout Ds and make plays. It's kind of a wealth of talent on the Dragon side. Here we'll see their O-line. So we feel going towards the right end zone is mostly the downwind side, yes?
Yeah, you'll definitely see it with the pulls. We've seen Tommy Lee go for that high arcing pull, very blady, very difficult catch going from left to right, downwind, while right to left you can't really do that. The pulls aren't going as far, so not a huge advantage with the wind, but I think the pulls are going to make an effect. I think probably easier to hook left to right, downwind.
Tommy Lee's pull fielded by Austin Lean again, centers to Charlie Schweiler. BFG showing this 2-3-2 type poach just for a moment. And now they will transition into person. Schweiler finds Adams in the middle, looking for Henke over the top. Back to Lean. Back to Schweiler. A low pass coming in a bit hot for Henke, and he will take an injury.
Yeah, I can even see in his early possession at that point, he didn't look that comfortable. I don't know what was going on with Henke, but maybe it looks like he's carrying an injury from before and just acting up now.
He also had a bit of contact with Hagen in the end zone on that high ball. Schoenrock will come in for Henke. Tommy Lee picking up for BFG here. Reset to Pickle. To a bidding Austin Barden. Back to Tommy Lee. To bend it through a bidding Martha Lean. There is a stoppage. Terrier and Pickle working on the dishy. Emily Regan bidding just shy. And another stoppage here. Anna Maria Pape with the disc here.
Also was at the Dublin's Golden Cup tournament along with Jeff Pape. So get a bit of Irish experience there.
Love the international connections. It's so fun. Oh, a low pass going this way for BFG. Seems to encounter Terrier's foot, maybe. Anyway, Dragon with an opportunity to hold. Working really hard for it. Martha Lean, IO break to Adams. Adams looking for Schoenrock. Schoenrock, Scuber to Regan. Reset through Charlie Schweiler. Looking for Martha Lean. Up line, great bid there. Lean to lean. To Schweiler. Trying to be patient here. Leading Austin Lean out to space here. Inches finding Regan for the hold. Seattle 6, Dragon Thrust 5.
Stellar point from Regan there. Saw her almost getting a layout D, but gets the goal later on the point. And I'm surprised to see youngster Schweiler have such a dominant role in this team. He seems like he's the Axis O-line handler. You know, 22 years old, this is a long-established mixed team. Must have been very difficult for him to take that role, to step in to ready such an established team in a dominant position like that.
Schweiler was on the team last year as well, and I think he got a lot of experience, but he is a very talented player and has anchored other teams, his high school team, Cathedral High School, and his college team, St. John's University. So I think he has a lot of savvy and gravitas for a 22-year-old, for sure. There's a little bit of a wind gust and a rain flurry just now. Not sure how it's impacting what's going on in the field. Obviously, it's hard to see that on the live stream. But the gusts come and go, so we may see a little bit of disc hopping and some maybe excitement on some interesting plays coming up in a few minutes here. Jacob Lean will pull. Crystal Koo to Simon. Bacon sinking that lane, trying to prevent the huck. Schoenrock gets that D.
There was definitely confusion in the stack there for BFG. A few people splitting to the side, one person going deep, but they were very hesitant. A lot of people looking at each other in the stack, wondering what was going on. That really the only option.
Looks to me like Schoenrock got a really well-timed up call from his teammate. He said just in time to bat that down. Good communication there by Dragon. Shortall with the disc for Dragon. Looking for Denacor. It looks like it may have bounced off of Denacor, and Shortall tried to recover possession but was unable to do so. BFG now with a short field opportunity here. Simon will pick up. Finds Pape on an easy out throw.
And again, just isolating one person in the lane. This time it's Pape's job to carry the mantle and just sit in the open space, and being a little too easy, Dragon Thrust, in those situations. And if they're going to keep running that same play, just isolating someone in the end zone, I think you got to get another player involved. Someone just leave the stack, come help out. Because, you know, with top players like this, you give them a lot of space and time, they're going to get free. That's just the nature of the game.
BFG up 2 on Minneapolis Dragon Thrust right now. Wind picking up a little bit, maybe going to become a little bit more of a factor. Certainly BFG has been showing a bit of a poach look, which seems like a good tactical decision right now, but they've been transitioning into person off of the initial few throws. As the wind picks up, do you see them holding that set a little longer, or do you think they'll continue to transition back into person?
I think they're going to continue doing that. Again, it's just to shut down that pull play, which it's done so far. They're winning the game. They got 2 breaks. If they can get to half, they're going to come out in offense as well, which is going to give them almost another free break, if you will. So if they can just hold out this, I imagine they're going to keep the same tactics. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and they haven't been broken yet.
Awesome. We'll see Hagen pull here from BFG. Pretty similar Dragon offensive line. With a few additions. A high hanging pull from Hagen. Land about the brick mark. Schweiler will pick up. Out to Lean, to Adams. Austin Lean getting wide open on a far up line. Around to Hemish. Hemish, another of these Masters players who plays for Surly. His nickname is Schwa, which you can see on the back of his jersey.
Yeah, Surly men's team also finishing 7th at the Masters Championships. I think both teams may be a little disappointed, but their performances would have been seeded higher than that.
Schweiler with the disc, close to the end zone, finding unbidding Martha Lean again on that up line. It's really bread and butter for Martha. She does that all the time.
Yeah, I think they're just throwing there. They go get it, Martha. You can go lay out for that one. You know how it's done.
Yeah, Martha Lean, very consistent player, often commenting kind of on live streams and in interviews with her coaches about her excellent break throws. And some jokes were made during Masters Worlds about how she's a right-handed thrower, but she throws her offhand left hand so reliably that she's basically left-handed.
Yeah, I'd almost be the same way. And we saw there Austin Lean have an amazing upline cut earlier in that point. Went up line, didn't get it, then dropped the shoulder, turned it back, a little shuffle, sold his mark, and then got a huge upline, which really opened up that play. But yeah, I'm actually a left-handed myself, but I throw right-handed.
I don't know why.
I don't know why
Why would
either.
you do that, Liam?
Well, actually, I got a serious injury in my left arm when I was quite young and almost lost my left arm. So I kind of have two averagely strengthened arms. No good arm, just two average arms. And I started throwing, and I did throwing lefty backhands, righty backhands, and someone said to me, not a very clever coach, said, Owen Wallace, I'm going to call him out, Wally, said, you got to pick one, and never really specified, you should be left-handed.
Yes.
If you're going to pick one, pick lefty. And I think at that point, I could have gone for left, and ended up learning my righty flick and got quite good at it. And then I started playing tournaments. I was like, oh, I should have done it the other way.
Should have done it the other way. Jacob Lean pulling for Dragon Thrust. It is a 1-point game here. Excellent showing from both teams. Mostly a defensive effort so far this game. I feel like both teams have made it very challenging for the other team. Bacon picking off that poach D in the lane, centering back to Trantina, who throws a bit too far for Erica Bacon, who was not expecting that, I don't think.
Yeah, that was a huge break opportunity for Dragon Thrust. You know, BFG can take half now. They wanted to get at least one break back before then. Bacon doing very well to intercept those continuation break passes that have been very successful for BFG.
So Simon Fox with the disc. Looks like the pick happened downfield where the Kirkland-Maxtroth matchup is forming. Adam Simon finds Simon Fox. Back to Simon. We'll look for Crystal Koo up line, just a bit too high on that arcing blade, especially with that tall matchup. Jess Holler on Dragon, very much taller than Koo.
Yeah, didn't need to go for that high loopy flick there. Crystal Koo absolutely roasted her player up line. That was some exceptional up the line speed, had plenty of separation, just needed an easy pass to the end zone, but they'll get it back.
Yeah, Alyssa Sue with that run through D. It looked like, again, a little bit of a miscommunication. Bacon put up a breakthrow, I think, to Shortall, but Shortall looking like she thought she had already been looked off and was clearing back to the stack. Pape here on this near sideline, breaking to Kirkland. Back to Pape, working with Kirkland, just playing catch. A little bit of contact and conversation. Pape throwing to the open side to Bryson Simon Fox. And that Pape with that wide swing out to Kirkland, making space. Simon now centered with the disc for BFG. Out to Pape, back to Simon. All these handler give and goes, very effective for BFG. And Kirkland finds herself alone in the back corner, and they hammer to take half, 8-6.
Yeah, who was marking Kirkland there? I think it might have been Mexrod maybe poaching a lane. Kirkland did exactly what you should do. Go to the end zone, go to the break side, make them have to honestly mark you. And they get caught out there. You see Mexrod is very far away. Kirkland just using her head, her brains to take half for BFG. That's a huge point. They'll be coming back out on offense, able to extend the lead to 3 if they can hold that one.
Yeah, so far in this game, a few break opportunities for each team, a little bit of wind interference, but not much as far as conditions go. Some really excellent handler play from both teams. And Seattle, obviously, still up to 8-6. Anything else that the viewers at home need to know about this first half, or maybe what to look for coming into the second half?
I think defensively, BFG have been better with their tactics. You know, having that junk look at the start, switching downfield, particularly in their female players, to stop them dominating the game. I don't think Dragon's Trust have done enough on defense to shut down what BFG wants. They haven't got a break in the first half, which is the most important stat of any D-line. So I think they need to just mix it up more. Try a zone, try something else. But if you're not getting any breaks, I don't think you can stick with the same defense that they're doing. So maybe that's something that John Gross, the coach, is going to talk about now. A big opportunity for them to really analyze what's happened in that first half and make adjustments, because you see BFG are happy, they're smiling, they're exactly where they want to be, looking to take a top seed into the semifinals.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Erin Moraka, and this is Liam Grant, and we are going to take a quick break on this live stream. We'll be back with the second half coverage of this U.S. Open pool play game as soon as the teams come back and take the field. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in a bit.
Did you want to get anyone from an interview or anything like that, or you good?
I didn't tell either team that we were doing that.
Yeah.
We'll take a couple minutes, and then before half, we have a package that kind of sums up the halftime, so we'll go back to
We're both muted now. Welcome back to coverage of the U.S. Open here in Blaine, Minnesota. We have some highlights for you from the first half of this game between Seattle BFG and Minneapolis Dragon Thrust. Please enjoy. As we begin this second half between BFG and Minneapolis Dragon Thrust, a few quick reminders of where we're at in the scope of this tournament this weekend in Blaine, Minnesota. Again, I am Erin Maraca. I'm here with Liam Grant. This is still pool play. It's the second day of play here for the adult ICC component of this huge event here at the National Sports Center. Also happening concurrently today is the beginning of the Youth Club Championship tournament. Of course, that tournament really an opportunity for the youth across the country to showcase kind of the future of our sport, the future of our community. Really excited about a lot of those games. Super high level play from both the U20 division and the U17 division. Glad to bring you more coverage of that as those rounds kind of migrate over to these showcase fields. The weather today in Blaine, Minnesota is a little bit gusty and a lot overcast with rain threatening pretty consistently, but so far we have been able to play out the rounds today. Excited to maintain that. As a Minnesota native, I am proud that the storm that raged last night has held off so far today. The standings in the mixed division, two very strong pools, a few upsets so far in the tournament. Liam, have you noticed anything to help us give some context to this game?
Yeah, we can set the scene here that both these teams undefeated in their pool, so this very much to take the top seed, which debatable how easy that semi-final is going to be. So I don't think either team are like too worried about winning or losing this game in one sense. Definitely better to have that top seed, and again, this is building on the season-long plan, so they want to definitely improve and work on some things. In the Pool B, one team that's impressed me is actually Madison Noise. It looks like they've stepped up their rosters, had a few new additions, and are definitely in contention for one of those semi-final spots. You got to think as well that the two teams in that Pool B who were at the World Ultimate Club Championships, AMP and Slow White, favourites to come through there, but looks like Noise are going to give them a run for their money. I think Wildcard, the only mixed team from the US that was at World Ultimate Club Championships, not here. 4 out of 5 here. 11 of the 13 teams that represented USA at the World Ultimate Club Championships are at this event.
Tom Green's pull will be fielded by Simon and then centered to Pape as BFG takes over on offense for the first point of the second half. BFG running a little bit of a man handler set there for just a second, but Koo, always a staple in the backfield, comes back to reset it. Pape taking a shot at Kawabata. It is coming in a little bit too hot, but she was in isolation against Bacon there. That's maybe never a bad idea.
Yeah, Kawabata had some separation. The problem was that throw came straight over her head. You see her looking over her left shoulder, then she's trying to look straight up, and it's very hard to run full speed and also look directly above your head and get a read on the disc. So that one didn't work out for them.
Bacon's throw to Shortall, a bit low. Shortall able to recover possession. Dish off to Trantina, who finds Jamie Glader downfield. Schoenrock now in the unlikely position as center handler, but he'll throw and go like a pro here, and he'll put it up. Trantina has the better read. Oh, some interesting max there in that play. Maybe we'll get another look at it. Certainly some discussion to follow.
Yeah, Pape getting 2 swipes at this disc. Very floaty to the end zone. Should have been an easy goal, but gets caught up in that wind. They are going upwind here. Pape gets early. Definitely think the first D was clean, and maybe, yeah, the second. Hard to say, though. Good awareness from Pape as he went for that first spin. A lot of people would just concentrate on their landing, but he was looking over his head, falling in the air, threw himself with the disc to try and make sure of it.
I think from Pape's perspective, determining whether it was catchable at all is certainly part of the conversation, but I think Trantina really focusing on the contact to the shoulder here.
And you see what he's saying there. It looks like he's debating that the first play was a foul. He's showing his shoulder up high. He's saying that that's when Pape maybe initiated some contact. Looked like he had a good angle to attack the disc, but very difficult to say.
See how long both teams agree to keep talking or whether they'll send it back. And here we go. They will send it back.
Interesting to see where they'll set up here, because when that throw went up, there was a free Dragon Thrust player there, open side, easy pass. So that's where they should, I think, return to, is where they were when the throw occurred.
I think I agree with you. But it looks like they will stay where they are. Schoenrock centering to Bacon, around to Tom Green. Schoenrock staying back in the handler set. Certainly a capable player, but someone you want in the backfield as a target.
Yeah, having watched some US Open finals before, I recognize him making sensational plays in the end zone. And interesting to see him here, but I guess that wide wingspan also good in the handler position as well.
Schoenrock finding Shortall on that IO break. Running the show right now as a handler. And he completes a pass to Trantina for the second attempt so that Dragon can make it a 1-point game.
Yeah, the Schoenrock show kicking off right there. Big point for Dragon Thrust. I think that is their first break of the game.
And in the direction that seems to feel a little bit more like the upwind. So that's huge.
Yeah, obviously that halftime team talk worked a treat. And it's a good time to get a break, you know, out of half. You can see, grab momentum off the other team, carry that into this next point.
Dragon will let Trantina stay on the line for defense now after scoring that point. Perhaps a reward.
Yeah, I like that. Your tail is high, you got your confidence up. You're feeling invincible in many ways every time you get a goal or make a big play. So get them back out there. Keep that blood rush going.
Now we discussed perhaps a change in tactics for Dragon would be well timed here. Something other than a person defense, maybe something to slow down BFG's offense. We know we did the game yesterday. It was BFG versus the German national team, and the German national team ran zone against BFG and really was effective in slowing them down and making them work really hard for every offensive possession. Wondering to see here if Dragon has something like that in their arsenal.
Yeah, that BFG team winning 8-4 at half against the Germans. The Germans brought it back to 9s. So BFG, not the first time they've been a little sleepy out of halftime, but were able to show their dominance in that game and actually win quite comfortably after that German run.
Kawabata with the disc in the open field. Looking for Kieran Kelly, who fires immediately to number 6, Bryson Simon Fox. Very efficient 3-pass score there from BFG. Also in the upwind direction. Good answer there.
Yeah, that was a rifle of a flick there from Kelly. Beautiful form in his throw.
also well placed. The disc out in front of his receiver enough that it gave him body position over the pursuing Denacor. Denacor has remarkable closing speed, so that certainly helped, and it prevented any opportunity for him to try to make a layout attempt safely.
Yeah, we've had a couple of tastes of Caleb Denacor's closing speed in this game. Hasn't really made that big play yet, but we saw one with a vagrant hook that he didn't get there, but overtook his receiver. So his separation speed, something to be wary of. And maybe he's often baiting those throws, but Kelly put it on a dime. Nothing he could do about that one.
Tommy Lee will pull again for BFG. 2-point game here in pool play on the showcase field. This is the same trajectory as most of Tommy Lee's pulls so far. Very consistent, all in bounds. Lean centers to Schweiler. Greta Regan out to Marty Adams. Back to Austin Lean.
Greta Regan actually a practice player for this squad, but considering that a lot of players were at the World Masters Championships, got the call up and has been playing very well.
Wow, a foot block piece there. Eva Maxon will recover possession. Looking to reset to Austin Lean. Able to put it out.
Stall out being called, so play will go back, I do believe.
As soon as the downfield players recognize.
And it's an uncontested stall out, so this will come back in with where Eva was standing.
That foot block was very, very well timed, and on a left-handed thrower like Charlie Schweiler, sometimes that spacing can be different. So I believe Pickle got most of that disc with his foot to cause that errant throw anyway. It was a great play by Maxon, but it was an equally great defensive mark. Tommy Lee shooting to Austin Barden. One throw score there for BFG.
Yeah, getting that break back. Beautiful offense after conceding a break in the first point and a half. Then they've had two really dominant O&D points following that. So answering back to the small bit of momentum that Dragontus have gained, but they're now back in a more comfortable position.
So we'll see Dragons O-line. With a few personnel changes, bringing Bacon over to O, bringing Jacob Lean over to O. Doesn't look to me like Schoenrock will have to handle on this line.
Doesn't have to, but may still decide to.
Apparently.
You know, he did very well last time, that handler position, so.
No, he did great. I'm just used to the Schoenrock like 15 feet in the air or extended 15 feet horizontally with the disc in his hands. And I know that most of his team really relies on him to be that reliably open target downfield. Not trying to rag on strings at all, but it is just kind of entertaining to see him in a new role, and it's great to see that he's very capable at it as well, which I'm sure most of these players at this elite level could do if asked, right? Not very necessary to specialize at this level.
Yeah, definitely no biased commentary here at the 2018 US Open.
Hagen's pull tail out of bounds.
And that brick sponsored by Brick's Restaurant, which is across the road. You get a free pint for every brick you throw in this game. Thanks very much to them.
Jacob Lean shooting a high release forehand to Caleb Denacor, who puts up a scoober over the top to Sierra Barton. Nice catch there from Barton. Having a good time with that one. Maybe not expecting that lefty scoober.
Yeah, quick offensive point there, and I think that was actually the first brick of the game. How consistent Tommy these pulls have been otherwise, and allow them to really set up their offense, you know, at the brick mark in the middle of the field as opposed to in their end zone is mostly where they've started their offensive points. So definitely a big advantage there. And I think something that the pull is often overlooked in the sport of ultimate, how important it is, and how people need to practice it more, and it can really affect the game. If you're starting in the back corner of your end zone as opposed to the brick mark, that is definitely a lower percentage chance of you converting that point.
Absolutely. Sierra Barton, another Surly Cougars player who made her way down from Winnipeg yesterday, along with Martha Lean and Claire Oakley.
Yeah, Tommy Lee will now get a free pint from Brick's Kitchen and Pub across the road. I'm going to keep saying that, and hopefully people go over there and request their free pint. I just made that up if that wasn't obvious. But some stellar food establishments in the Blaine area. I've been sampling some. Tried to order ice cream yesterday from some place, and that took way too long. I had no idea what was going on.
I don't know what to tell you. Pape will field this pull for BFG. And center to Simon. Kawabata guarded by Max Roth. Bacon poaching a bit in these lanes, causing a little bit of mayhem.
We're seeing that side stack again from BFG now, filtering across.
Coup to Kirkland. Kirkland firing. And there, Schoenrock, close enough to make a play, may have landed a bit hard, will request an injury sub.
Yeah, it looks like he just might have winded himself, and that maybe not a great option, trying to throw over the friendly mentioned strings. That's one on the back of his jersey anyway. And you can see him there flailing one of those spaghetti arms at the disc, and a difficult man to throw over.
Yes, he has quite a reach. Looks like Neil Henke will come in and tap in play. Tommy Lee also coming in for Kieran Kelly. We'll see Erica Bacon pick up for Dragon here. So it's 8-10, BFG up on Dragon Thrust in this pool play game. 22 minutes and a bit left in this game to 15. What would you like to see from Dragon right here to close this gap?
I'd maybe like to see him play a horizontal stack a bit more.
Coup with
at least
a hand block.
Separate their cutters and stop that poaching and switching from BFG.
So Crystal Coup hand blocking Erica Bacon to recover possession for BFG just a few yards out of the end zone. Tommy Lee finds Kawabata on an upline. Must have juked Sarah Maxroth pretty good to get that kind of separation.
Yeah, I think when she has to cut downfield with the full field to go, she's going to struggle a little more in Maxroth. But then tight space, Kawabata maybe has advantage. Again, a matchup we're both loving here. And again, Kawabata, a very difficult player to stop. And the advantage is always going to be with the offense. You know, you're always chasing them. You know, a top player against another top player, it's likely the offensive player is still going to get free.
So that's 11-8. BFG continuing to have a lot of fun and a lot of neon on their sideline. Dragon maybe a little bit quieter than usual on their sideline.
And how quickly has this BFG team risen to stardom? As I said, this is their first US Open.
Yeah.
You know, 6 for Dragon Thrust. This shows you how quick they've ascended to the top. And from what I've seen, I'd say they're the best mixed team in the US. And I don't feel that's an out there statement, seeing as this won the World Championships, getting through the 4 US teams that made it to the semi-finals. And that's an incredible achievement to do in such a short time. And maybe just as hard as once you get to the top to stay at the top. You know, you can't get your foot off the gas. There's a lot of people in the pack chasing them.
Yeah, we talked about this a bit yesterday, of course, in that Germany game, but when you are the top team, when you have risen that far, you get a bit of a target on your back, and teams show up for you in a way that they don't necessarily show up for every team, because you're a known quantity. There's film on you. You can be scouted, but also people want to put their best effort forward when they're playing the best. It's not only a good opportunity to get better, but a good opportunity to kind of measure yourself against that talent. And it's been really interesting to see a lot of teams take their game to BFG this weekend. Austin Lean's pass to Emily Regan mishandled. Unfortunate error there, totally uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I think she might have been looking down the field already. Almost too easy of a catch and was getting ready for the next throw.
Tommy Lee and Terrier working in the backfield here. Dragon able to push back the number of yards for BFG and reset their field position. Lee to Pickle. Pickle to Barden. Barden out to Coleman. Back to Tommy Lee. These big swings from the BFG handler set, really important. Able to get their downfield receivers pretty open in those spaces. Pick called here in the handler set.
And you wonder what the motivation is for some of these teams to come back at this moment, Dragon Thrust, you know. It's likely they'll be in the semi-finals, whether it's Amp, Slow White, Noise, Love Tractor may still be in a chance.
Nice bid there by Pickle.
There's no easy teams in this mixed division.
That IO flick popped a bit, and Barton was there to receive it. Had set a pivot already, so she just launched this flick huck to Schoenrock from in the end zone, and he finds Marty Adams on the doorstep. Back to Austin Lean. Austin Lean's throw to Martha, possibly impacted by a foul. Appears to be uncontested.
Yeah, it looks like the contact might have come after the drop, but maybe just that pressure or maybe something in the knee just beforehand, but uncontested.
Schoenrock with a over the top to Austin Lean. That quick no pivot backhand. Not sure whether the intended target there was Schoenrock or Adams.
Yeah, trying to dissect 2 of his offensive receivers. Not really picking either of them there. Hopefully one would get it, but Numpkin down with it. I'd like to see maybe BFG call a timeout here. This has been quite a scrappy point. Both sides look tired, but they're going to continue on with it.
Willing to grind. A little bit of a foot tangled up situation here.
Yeah, that one's tough for Tommy Lee because he's going to get this back now, but doesn't have that forward momentum he had a second ago, which if he's going to try and laser a big huck, he's not going to be able to do it as easily. But I think just one of those unfortunate ones where you trip over each other's feet.
Tommy Lee to Terrier. A little bit of an errant pass, but it is caught by Anna Maria Pape.
I believe that's timeout called. Using his fist rather than an open palm to signal for the TO, but definitely made it audible to everyone on the field. I think that was a good idea.
Yep, a little bit later than you wanted,
Yeah,
but still an opportunity here to take a timeout and regroup.
I think that makes sense. Maybe a bit more difficult calling a timeout on your end zone line. This almost just past the brick mark. A very advantageous position to call it. The whole field around you, but a space behind as well to set up whatever offense you like.
A resounding chorus of a Backstreet Boys song coming from the BFG kind of adjacent huddle here on the field. Staying loose.
Yeah, that is I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys. Don't know if they're paying royalties on that one just yet. We'll have to turn our field mic down for that one. But a beautiful rendition, nice harmonies.
Ultimate Frisbee players are mysteriously good singers most of the time, at least in my experience.
Yeah, this BFG team, not bad players as well.
No. I heard you yesterday say that one of the German teams is the lead singer of a metal band.
That is actually
Oh,
one
is
of
that
the
on
BFG
this?
team.
Oh,
That
that's
is
great.
Pickle.
That's Pickle.
That is Pickle. Now, I really took that at face value when he told me that at Worlds. I'm definitely choosing to believe it. Didn't question it too much.
Okay.
But I can see it. He's got some medley style there. A couple of tats. The longer hair. He's got the look.
Baron Simmons with the disc. I believe there's a pick called.
Wouldn't mind hearing a metal version of the Backstreet Boys. Could be a cool mashup.
We'll have to talk to him about it after the game. Reset to Pickle. Back to Tommy Lee. Terrier. Around to Baron Simmons. Back to Pickle. Terrier getting a lot of open unders on this point. Lee. Lee with a nice backhand around break. To Coleman. To Barden, and then back to Lee. Another stoppage here. Disc will go back to Barden. Perhaps a travel called? Not sure what the infraction was, I missed it. Reset to Baron Simmons. She puts up a flick, and Emily Regan skies to pull that D. Schweiler to bidding Martha Lean, now a staple of this game.
Maybe that's the only way she can catch those. Maybe she's slowing down, I don't know. That's her most comfortable catching position.
Certainly possible. Schoenrock up to Barton. Barton putting up a high stall count look in the direction of Schoenrock.
Yeah, Schoenrock in a bit of a sandwich there. Very hard for there not to be contact. It was definitely a wayward throw, so you feel maybe doesn't deserve to be caught sometimes, but you see him going up there. Yeah, a lot of players kind of holding their ground.
So this looks uncontested. Schoenrock will have possession of the disc on the front of the end zone. Resetting Schweiler. Bit too high for a bidding Austin Lean there. Couple opportunities there for Dragon to score close to the end zone. Just a couple inches off here and there, but really good defensive pressure from BFG.
Yeah, there's been a lot of turnovers at this point. It's been by far the most messy of the game. Both lines looking tired now. Rain pelting down.
Pickle and Lee in the backfield. Lee really liking this backhand break. Lee will put up a big backhand for Barden. Schweiler is there and able to get a hand on it.
Yeah, that one just dropping it a little short. And there's some contact on the field, but good spirit. No call there, and then another unfortunate drop. Plenty coming in this point.
At the point in the game for Dragon where they're pretty anxious probably to put something together here and make plays for their team, possibly just getting ahead of themselves in some of these situations, trying to do too much in the same moment. Pickle and Lee. Through to Barden. Lee to Terrier. Terrier's IO is defended by Emily Regan.
I feel like we should just call this point a draw. Go back to go back to the lines. Fresh 7 on for each team, and start playing Ultimate again, because yeah, this point has been a mammoth one.
I don't know, long points like this that really make you grind it out. It's a good way to discover a team's character and their commitment, right? So that huck from Marty Adams to Schoenrock covering the majority of the field. Offhand, left-hand throw.
Isn't caught.
Is not caught.
Somebody please show mercy. Let this one come to a close.
I would love to see one of the sidelines fuel the team on the field right now.
And that is the second time out at this point.
There we
called by
go.
Tommy Lee.
So that's that's 2 timeouts in the same point for the same half in a game where you get 2 timeouts per half. Yes?
Yeah, so that's...
So BFG will no longer have any timeouts for the remainder of this game, but there are only about 8 minutes left in this game to 15.
And they have no more timeouts in this point, which seems to be a problem for them. Maybe Dragon Thrust might call one themselves.
Yeah, really interesting to see kind of how this point has developed. It is a little bit windy, but not enough to really be a factor. It is a little bit wet, but not enough to cause this many turnovers. What do you think? Mental fatigue? It's only day 2 of this tournament, and there's another day to go.
I think it's just tiredness in this one point of those individual players on the field. Often this can happen. It can snowball into more and more returns. The more goes on, the more likely it's to go on even further, because people are tired. The pressure to not turn over is kind of gone as well. You know, everyone's probably had one already in this point, so you can see them there. They're maybe jacking a bit more and just want to try and end it, rush it, and end up turning over even more.
Whoever does score this point, it will be a moral victory at the very least.
And probably just that, because we were running close to the hard cap. I think it's probably too little too late for Dragon Thrust to catch up now, unless they can get the disc back quickly from BFG and make some ground. Maybe BFG just tactically running the clock down here, turning overloads, calling timeout.
Little gamesmanship. Gamespersonship.
Yeah, maybe some, let's see if they just throw it to the corner flags now and keep possession there.
That could well be a strategy. They could just play this point for the rest of the game. That would be remarkable for a US Open game.
And you send Tommy Lee home after that, you know. He's probably pretty spent. You've done what's asked of you.
He has. He has been a very consistent kind of offensive backbone for this BFG team this point. And these backhand breaks are just so smooth. And his release point is not super low, just really far away from his body, able to get around the mark, not necessarily through it. Terrier getting open under on Schoenrock. Nice little shoulder move there by Baron Sibbins. Back to Pickle. Lee. Another backhand break to Terrier. In the middle to Coleman, back to Lee. Back to Coleman. Content to play kind of small ball right in here. Pickle's high pass caught there by Baron Simmons. Nice IO upfield. Pickle back to Terrier. And that same IO to number 33, Anna Maria Pape. That was a clean hold if you count the timeout as the start of the point.
Which nobody will do. Oh, yeah. Relief for that to be over. Just that point, quite a mammoth one. That will go down in absolutely no history book whatsoever.
I think the common heckle here after a long point like that is to call same line. So we should get 14 fresh, rested human beings ready for this point. It is 12-8. BFG with a comfortable lead here and not a lot of time left to protect at all. And Hagen will pull.
Yeah, I barely recognize these faces anymore.
Haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah, I haven't been out there in a while. Pretty much every game around us in this area of the fields finished quite a while ago.
If you're Dragon here, I think you're starting to think a little bit about the rest of the day for your team. So a little bit of momentum here, a little bit of confidence would be nice to end with. You have the schedule in front of you. Can you tell us a little bit about what each of these teams are doing next?
I think this might be their last game of pool play, so until all the other results are in, I can't exactly say what they'll be doing. But it looks like they'll be playing in the stadium next in the semifinals, both teams.
Max Roth with the disc. Looking for a reset, finds Pat Niles on a tight 7. Looks like a pick called.
Here we go, Steve. Emmy, can you just clarify if it's game to 13? Thank you.
Niles. Niles putting up a bit of a bailout flick, intercepted by number 44, Gussin. Hagen with the disc. To Gu.
Lily Gu actually one of the best dancers on this team as well. Always gets them super pumped up.
It's Linnea Sue. Max Roth gets up for that poach D. Not a poach D, just a regular D. Niles centers to Tom Green. Breaks to short all. Finding Maxon. Espinoza. Round to Niles. BFG still playing very tight defense, very effective. Tom Green able to get open on that IO upline cut. Nice little dish out to Espinoza. To Max Roth over a bidding Sue. choosing to hammer over the top to a reset Niles, who can't hang on. BFG will take over. It is a game to 13. So this is now a game point opportunity for BFG to end this game. Mario O'Brien will pick up to Hagen. Hagen and O'Brien. Little dishy work. Henke says travel. And O'Brien finds Linneasu for the break and the win as the horn sounds. So all of the end points all at the same moment. Liam, what are you thinking about the latter half of this game?
I'm trying not to think about it too much, to be honest, Aaron. Definitely the best ultimate coming in the first half, but a comfortable win in the end for BFG. Again, maybe Dragon Trust realizing that they're in the semis already, likely to come up against possibly AMP, Slow White. Again, I can't say for certain, got to find out the other results. But a very even pool, that Pool B, so I don't think any of the semi-finals is going to be easy, nor would you pick a team particularly. And looks like this game is going.
This game is not over. Apologies to the fans at home. We thought we had confirmed that the game was to 13. We updated our display to say that it was to 13, and apparently the game is to 14. So that neat little package that just happened all at once requires a little bit more effort from both teams.
So BFG try and drag this ship into port, slow and steady, taking their time. They're in no rush. They got a semi coming up later on.
Yeah, there's 0 time left. This is the last point at 2, couldn't I?
Yeah, if Dragon Trust score here, I think we will have another one. I'm not sure exactly how the hard cap works. Does it maybe just finish the point? So we might just have one more.
Okay.
Anyway.
I need an energy drink. We are trying to confirm exactly what's going down on the field right now. Hard to feel a little disconnected up here sometimes. Leighton had centered to Jacob Lean, and an over-the-top look meant for Hemish. Little high is defended. So BFG does have a chance right now to score the 14th and end this game.
And also this will count for the almighty USEU algorithm. If they can win by a greater margin than we thought they did, that will play into their rankings.
Lead Barden out to Lee, a pick call.
And
Hagen laughing.
Trying to confirm some information there with Emmy Fitzgerald. It looks like AMP have topped the other pool. Slow White finishing second. About 90% sure on that, so that is the semi-final matchups awaiting these teams. Likely to be BFG versus Slow White. A replay of that Worlds final, if I remember correctly. And then Dragon Trust versus Philadelphia AMP.
Hagen right outside of this end zone. Over the top to Lee. Not actually quite sure what throw that was. Just snuck right over the shoulder of Adams.
That was the most popular throw in Ultimate right now, at least the one trendiest, the lefty offhand, backhand, over the shoulder. Didn't have a huge amount of spin, that one, but was able to get to its intended target. And yeah, they win the game 14-8.
Absolutely. Key takeaways from this game, primarily from the first half, probably. BFG really locking down their defense, right? Causing Dragon Thrust to struggle on continuing their undercuts and getting clean handler resets. Just were able to cause a lot of kind of errant throws to pop up, and then we're tight enough to make plays on those. We're able to get a couple breaks when it mattered and then hold those leads. Anything else for the general viewing public to take forward out of this game?
Not too much. I think you summarized it there very well, but excited to see those semi-final matchups. I'm sure Boston Slow White will have a bone to pick with this BFG side. And Philadelphia Amp, you know, a team that I would expect to do very well at Worlds, probably my favorite going into it. So they'll be looking to bounce back after that with a big matchup against the forever semi-finalists and finalists at this event, Dragon Thrust.
Well, on behalf of Liam Grant, I was Erin Maraca, and we're really pleased to be able to offer you more coverage throughout the day today. So we'll look forward to seeing you back here on the Facebook stream with the next round of play. Thanks so much.